Well, I think just in terms of, what we've seen in the last 40 years of the current provincial system, it's absolutely imperative that it changes. What we've seen over the last few years especially is the numbers of First Nation kids in the current system has increased. The last few years have indicated that roughly 8 to 10,000 children in care in the province of Manitoba, and 80% of them are likely First Nations. They're our kids, right? The kids that belong to the KTC nations. In order for us to really change that narrative and change the future for our children and our people, like we have to change the system, and the only way we can do that is create our own law. Well, I think given my experience in the current system, my role as executive director, I have a responsibility, I have a duty, I feel, to assist and support the KTC nations to develop a law that's meaningful to them and will affect the changes that are necessary. Well, I think that the biggest thing is is the one thing that's been known to me and probably others who have been in the field for the past decades is the desire has always been there for First Nations in our tribal council to assert their own authority and a jurisdiction over child and family matters. And I think for me, this law development process gives us that opportunity. So really what it means is it gives us more control over what happens with our own kids and our own families in our own communities. With that responsibility also comes, we'll also be accountable to one another for anything, all our successes and all of our failures. For me, ever since the last 3 years or so, when I took over the role of ED of OASIS, my intent was to retire and leave the system in a better place. And I think the opportunity to develop our own law for our own nations gives us all the opportunity to leave a legacy, right? To leave something better behind. My hope is that, when this law is created, that our children, our grandchildren, don't have to go through this stuff again, right? It's not fair to them to leave work undone. I think that to me is the biggest opportunity, because it means something different for our kids. I think for me, one of the biggest things that is I just wanted to add, and I've said it before in a lot of the meetings and forums that have led us up to the development of the law, is that I think it's really the responsibility of our nations and our leadership to consider one law for all of our nations. I'm looking ahead, and I'm seeing challenges and issues that are going to continue to happen if we go down the process of 5 or 6 different laws in one region. It really, I think, plays into the hands of the federal government and the naysayers that say that we can't manage our own affairs. And I think for me, it's the old divide and conquer tactic that's played out in many of our nations for such a long time. And with one law, and with all the nations supporting one law and doing the work under one law for all our kids and families, I think it just creates more strength, more authority, and probably a better platform to continue to advocate for more services and programs in the future, which we're going to need anyway as a result of this law.